Okay, cool. So thank you to be here. So today I'm going to have a talk about Google Vertex AI with Flutter. So that is an improved Dash. So do you know Dash? Dash is a Flutter mascot. So we are going to try to give him some superpower with AI. Just before starting, who knows Flutter? Who knows Google Cloud Platform? So you won't be, and who are already testing Vertex AI? Great. So let's start it. So for the agenda, I'm going to start with a little bit of context. Why I'm here, what we're going to talk about, some concept around generative AI. We're going to see Vertex AI generative AI, which is one of the modules of Vertex AI. And under one, we see chat, search, and conversation. And finally, we're going to wrap up everything. So to bring up some context, so I'm sure you heard about OpenAI and ChatGPT that has been launched last year. Since then, they have a little bit democratized generative AI. And since then, we have a lot of applications with they all have this generative AI functionalities for now, and it's coming very fast. Every day, every month, there is a new application that's released with this generative AI functionality that's help you to get better prompt, to generate marketing generation, documentation, and so on. A lot of product has been. So there's an opportunity for the Flutter to be able to embed some of this technology, so generative AI, and we are going to see how we are going to do it with Vertex AI, and how it's not that simple, but it's very easy to embed the generative AI. So a little bit of historic. It's going fast, very fast. So in November 22, so that ChatGPT has been released. Since then, we have Google, who has been started and published some very interesting things about intelligence artificial, has been very overdepassé by ChatGPT, and they have in January they have declared a red alert, and they have focused everything on the AI. So they are trying to push new products, and in March 23 they have published Bard. First demonstration on Bard. It didn't go so well after that, but in May for the Google I/O they have published Duet AI for the Google Workspace, and they have announced Generative AI Studio to build your own generative AI. Everything has been running, and on the next 23 in August they have popularized, so they have published general availability about Duet AI and Bard, and also for the generative AI who has been embarking into Vertex AI. So I'm Eckarath. I'm a freelancer. It's been 1 year now that I'm in Montreal. I'm come from France. I'm a solution architect, especially in the cloud and Google. And so I was working with a French client, and now I'm starting to looking for a mission here in Montreal. So just to start, we're going to talk about some three concepts that are going to be useful to understand how generative AI is working. The first one is LLM. Who knows about LLM? So LLM is for large language model. So it's a model that it's an IA that's been trained on a massive data set, and the difference between all is that it can understand you and answer some coherent some responses that is coherent and understandable by you. So it's a very you use a lot of statistical mathematics to able to attach words between together to understand what you're saying and to be able to give you some answer from a general knowledge about all the data he has been trained all over the internet that you can find. So what are your use case for the LLM? The first one is a text generation, so you can ask of him, and he's going to put you some answer about the question you're asking. And most of them is very useful for when you don't know how to write some text for marketing purpose or for product description. So generative AI is very helpful in this case for you to have some prompt, some description already done, and to accelerate in fact your work. The second one is a language. So for the language, you can use it to translate a text from a language to another language, from English to French, for example. And also you can do some speech to text or text to speech, because as he understood what you're saying, he is able to translate it into another language from a textual point of view or from a speech point of view. The third one is a summarization. So this one is, for example, if you don't want to read a book or a big PDF, you can give it to your AI, and it's going to give you some summarization of this document. And we see that we can also push a little bit harder and do some searchable indexation, and to be able to ask questions about a document easily with generative AI. The next one is for the question answer. So you can train your model with some FAQ. For example, you know that you have a big FAQ, you don't know where to, you can give it to Adam, and then after that you can ask some question and answering to this model. And the last one is the chatbots. So chatbots, we already have some chatbots, but it's very predefined chatbots that we have to design. In fact, all the flow of the conversation that we have, what the chatbot can do. But now with the generative AI, we can be a little bit more, we can define a little bit more fine-grained the chatbot, and to have a more natural discussion with the chatbot than before. With the generative AI, there is a new I won't say job, but there is a new term that has been introduced, which is this prompt engineering. So it's an art on how you are going to talk with your generative AI bot. So it's a way to be able to express what you want that your generative AI is going to answer, and to have the right answer for the right question. So it's a process that you are going to train and to give to your generative AI to give the right answer. So there is some different techniques for the prompt engineering, some strategy that you can apply, in fact, to be able to do some prompt engineering. The first one is the zero-shot prompting, that you just add the question and you have the answer that you have. It's maybe not what you're expecting that you are going to have. And the other one is going to be the few-shot prompting, that you are going to have the same question, but to add a little bit more context to have a more precise answering. The third one is role-playing, so you can train your language model to speak like a pirate, for example, and it's going to answer to you like it is a pirate. The next one is the generated knowledge prompting. This one is, for example, that you want to be your LM to be specialized in some kind of style, and you can give him some inputs to be more to have more data on a specific situation. Like, for example, if you want to if you want to be in specific style of painting, you can give him some input about what neorealist is, what kind of define more precisely what is the style of Newton, and you can ask your generative AI, and it will answer more precisely with this knowledge that you have provided him in Enter. And the last one is the same of thought prompting. So the same of thought, it's you are going to teach him how to resonate. So you're going to, for example, if you want him to write a story, you can tell him about how to write a story. You are going to start by once upon a time. The second step is going to describe all the characters in your story. The third, you are going to introduce the threats in the story. The fourth step is going to be the resolution of the threats, and the 5 is everyone is happy and have a lot of freedom. You are going to teach them to resonate like this, and when you are going to ask him to tell you a story, he's going to respect these different steps and to generate you a full story. Here's some example from the different prompting so the first one is zero shot. So you just ask him to generate a poem about a flower. So he's going to give you a poem. You are going to like or not like it. You can relaunch the same prompt and to have maybe another answer. You can do a few shot prompting. In the second one, you are going to say, I want a poem in Shakespeare style. So he's going to get some inspiration about William Shakespeare, and he's going to read a poem like it was William Shakespeare who has wrote this poem. The third one, so it's a role playing. So you can say that I want a poem about a flower, but from a tree perspective. So it's going to be the tree who is going to speak about a flower. The fourth one is the generated knowledge. So you want a poem, but you want it in a specific style, which is haiku. So it's Japanese poetry, and you can give some example about what is an haiku poetry. So here I give two examples, and he's going to generate a poem based on this knowledge that I give him in entry. And the last one is a chain of thought. So I'm going to ask him to give me a poem about a flower, but with a different step, with a start, and then a step, and the next step, and the last step. There is another parameter also that you know how to write a prompt, but there's also configuration that you have to take into account to be able to parameterize your generative AI. So there is a common, it's common for all the generative AI of the market. The first one is the temperature. So it's going to be influence how precise your generative AI is going to be. Less the temperature is close to 0, more is going to be precise. And if you put temperature close to 1, it's going to make what we call some creative idea or some delirium. It can be really delirious if you go too close to 1. So if you want more precise and more sticks to what you ask, close to 0. Otherwise, if you want some creative idea, close to 1. The next one is the max output token. It's how many words is going to be pushed out from the response. This one is important from a question of pricing. More you are going to put token, more there's going to be processing, and more your request is going to cost. So this one is important if you want to maximize or to minimize your price, but to have a quality answer, you have to jungle between these inputs. The third one and the fourth one is more about how it's going to compute statically, how it's going to know which word is going to be used. So for the top K, it's going to be, let me just release the definition. Yeah, it's how it's going to check, in fact, he has this first word, he's going to check for the next word, how much word is going to be selected. So he's going to, know that for this word, the next word could be a list of words. We are going to try to reduce the number of words he can select it. He's going to select it one. And for the top P, it's going to be how many answers you are going to push it back from them. So who are the main actors on the market for generative AI? So the most known one is OpenAI with just the GPT. And in the shadow you have Microsoft. So Microsoft is hosting OpenAI, and he also proposed OpenAI as a service on Azure Cloud. The next one is Google, so with Vertex AI. And there is another one, Hugging Face, which is an open source in which you can have some different model of generative AI, and you can use it with Hugging Face. And you have AWS, which try to get up with this tree. So it's coming with a Bedrock. Bedrock is their LLM and AI Studio that they just released. I think we are going to know more in their next event at the end of the year. And recently, Microsoft also announced a studio for generative AI last week, I think, on it. So what is Vertex AI? So at the beginning, Vertex AI was a Google Cloud Services, which is used for MLOps, for the machine learning operation. So in which you can, in this studio, you can train, in fact, a model with the data. You can train it and deploy it to be used. That's the beginning. After that, they want to push, in fact, everything under the Vertex AI name. So they put the generative AI input inside Vertex AI, and also another product which is search and conversation. So search is for the enterprise search of Google in the Google Cloud, and conversation is for dialog flow. They push it also into Vertex AI to mix, in fact, generative AI with this product. So let's start with generative AI. So in your console, when you go to the Vertex AI solution, so you will have this. You have the left menu in which you will have the generative AI studio, in which you can do three things. You can do some generative AI language, vision, or speech. So for the language is how you are going to use the text to do some generative AI. Vision is going to, like Adobe Firefly, you are going to ask a question and it's going to generate you an image. The third one is speech, so it's to do some text to speech or speech to text with voice that you can define and so on. Well, for example, if here we have a language, so you can, they have already structured, in fact, the way you are going to, they are going to help you to do some prompting. You can do some text or code prompting, so code is for code generating, or you can do chat prompting. And here you can tune the model if you want. If the LLM is too large for you, you can tune it with your own data to have your own model, your own LLM that you can reuse it after. And everything that you've done here can be used from an API point of view. So let's see how it looks like. So check. So here I'm on my console. What you have, what's interesting is this model garden. I don't talk about it, but model garden, it's you can see Vertex AI has like open bar for the generative AI model. So you have a lot of model. You have the Palm, so it's the Google one. You have Llama 2, which is the one from Meta, and you have a set of model that you can use into Generative Studio. You just have to activate it, and you can use it after that in your studio. So you have a set of generative of models that you can start to be used, selected and used into your generative AI. So when you are in your generative AI studio, you have a choice between language, speech, or vision. For now, vision you don't have. Everything is under beta. It's not ready to be used. We can start with speech, for example. So speech, you can Can you see? It's not too small. Hmm?
Yeah, can you zoom?
Yeah.
Come close.
Come on, close. Magic. So you can text to speech.
Hello, Flutter Meetup. How you doing?
So you can input a text, and then you have the answer. And what is interesting is that you can test what you want to do. So you can test different voice. You can also configure the speed. And then you have the code. That's how you're going to be able to use it in Python. But you also have everything accessible via through API, and you also have how to access to the API. So let's go in language. So here we have different way to start. So let's start with a text prompt. Oh, there's to help you. They have some prompt example here that you can open to see how it's working. For example, here we have a summary. So the idea is to provide a summary of a long article. It's about, I don't know what is it about. So it's just like, yeah, it's about Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe. So you can provide him a text to summarize. And here you have the prompt, so we can maybe use the example that I give here. Let's go with this one. Sorry. Up. Sorry. So we have generating you a poem.
Can you try Flutter?
Huh?
Can you try Flutter?
Flutter?
A poem about.
Huh?
A poem about Flutter?
Oh.
We don't have. Yeah. Like everyone's day, a little bit.
So here you have some parameters that you can adjust. So the region where you're going to run the generative AI, the model you're going to use. So if by default it's a PAM2, the model that has been deployed, but if you can deploy also the other one, not for Meta, for example, and you can use it. So you have PAM2, you can use whatever you can. So the difference, it's about the cost is going to cost you at the end. More performant the model is going to be, more cost is going to cost. And also you have the other parameter I'm talking about. So you have the temperature, you have the token, the output token, the top K, top out, and you also have max responses. So that means that you can have multiple responsive, that you can have the choice between 2 or 3 or whatever you want. You can also stream the response, so that means that you can receive on the fly the response to be displayed like you want. And this one is a safety one, so it's Google that can block for you following certain rules of rules that block, in fact, the response to say that it is not according to your rules. Chops up. And also like this, you can have an example of code with Python. And you also have here the URL that you can call and what to pass in the body to be able to use it. So this is one. So this is a prompt that you can put everything, but you can be a little bit more structured. That means that you can put a context. You can add some example. That's the way that you want to answer or not to the question. And you can have some test prompt that's going to train, in fact, the model to get the answer that you want. And you got this one, for example, that's the code model is going to help you to do some code. So here I'm asking to do a hello world in Flutter. So you have generated the code for me. So here it is Generative AI Studio. Check. And now we are going to see how we can integrate it into Flutter. So for what I here, there was no SDK for that at the beginning, but I just see that there is one that's been released now a few days ago, 5 days ago in fact, that's going to wrap up on the Vertex AI API to you to code more naturally the way to interact with Vertex AI. So we are going to see 3 demonstrations. The first one is going to be use a zero prompting strategy. So we're going to have a chat with Dash, so we can ask anything that we want. We are going to use this endpoint and to put in the body this kind of response. So we just have to push the prompt inside it, and we are going to use mean, and we hear that the temperature that the parameter is going to use to have the answer. The second demo we are going to do is about Dash Astronaut. So it's a persona role-playing bot. So this one is going to be an astronaut. This one is going to be an astronaut and is going to know about astronomy, galaxy, and so on. And you can ask only question on this kind of subject. And the third one is a Dash coder. So it's going to be able to code for you some Flutter screen. So here we go. So just a few seconds, that's I launch the application. Yeah. Bien. Comment on zoom là-dessus? Maybe I can show you. It's going to be a chat, a very simple chat. Oops. Okay, so it's going to be chat. So we have Dash, so it's going to be our friend Dash where with zero prompting. Second one is going to be the Dash Astronaut, and the last one is going to be the coding part. So not working. Why? So I just forgot to. It's very secure, so I just forgot to generate a key to access to it. Hold on a second. Yep. Here we go. That should be working. Do you have anything to ask to Dash?
What is Dash?
What is Dash? I'm afraid about this answer. Dash. It's skeptical too. Maybe let's be a little bit for Flutter. No, it's better. Maybe you know about cooking. Come on.
Oh, wow.
And here we are. So what do we need? Yeah. So let's see for the second one. So it's a dash note. So I did a presentation what is up. So it's dash note. What are the distance? So normally if I ask him how if I ask him something about cooking, he should say me that he doesn't know. He's just an instrument. He's not a cooker.
Maybe how to bake a strawberry cake in space.
We can try. We can try this one, yeah. In space. Let's see. That's pretty good. In French, yeah? He's polyglot too. You understand, but he didn't try to, because I just put it. And for the last one, so it's the one who is going to be some coding involved, so we can ask him to do some hello world. I know it's not the, it's not the good one. It's this one. So. That's why. Okay, so let's see if the coding is working or not. Okay, so here I have a dart pad. That's all. Let's see what it's going to be about. Yeah, so we have a hello world that is working. I have, let me see that I have something a little bit, maybe we can ask him to code. I think I have a prompt somewhere which is a little bit more complex. Maybe we can challenge him on this one. Don't move. This one. Yeah. Here we are. So what did I ask him? So I asked him to create a responsive screen that uses navigation bar in case of mobile and a drawer in case of tablet screen. In each case, it will contain 3 items, home, message, and notification with the associated icons. When I click on home, display a screen with a welcome light blue message center message. When I click on message, a list of 20 items. Okay, let's try if he can sort it out for me, this one. I think that I don't have enough. Tokens, so it's a little bit. Let's fix this. Let's fix that. Let's give him some more token. Where is my? where did I put the token? Okay. Let's try. I think that's if I put 200 tokens, he should be able to answer me. Of course, he has. Oh, come on. Yeah, we try again. Okay, I think it's okay. You should have enough token to answer. Let's see if it is working or not.
Maybe 5 please.
Yeah, sure. So I have a drawer. That's a good start. When I click on home, so I have my 20 items. And for the identification, I don't have this. So let's see if I try to resize to be on mobile compliant. Is it? Oh, here switch on a mobile. So it's working pretty well. So I guess we're going to be out of work soon with this kind of generative AI. But it's a good way to see that. What is interesting is that each time that for the code, he's going to give you some. If we look at the API more precisely. I think it's this one. So for them, if we look on the API, what we can see that we have the content. So the content is the code that you're going to display. But you also have in the metadata. No, it's not in the metadata. It's here. After the content, you have the sources. So where he has been searched to get all this code. So he give you he give you the source where he have a pull out to generate this code. Okay, okay for this one. Maybe I'm a little bit late, so let's go to the next one. So demo is okay. So this one we're going to look at the search and conversation part. So it's an old product that's been rebranded. It's the Google search and Dialogflow. Dialogflow is always existing as it is, but we're going to mix these products with generative AI. So when you come into the interface of this one here, you are going to be able to search of what type of application you want to build. So you can build a search, a chatbot, or a recommendation engine. And to be able to build this different application, you are going to associate some data. So it's called data store. So for each application, you are going to be able to map one or more data store. And for the data store, you're going to get his source from the website. If you want, for example, to do a search engine, you can give him your website to be able to indexing the website and then to ask questions about the website. You can use data in BigQuery. You can use cloud storage to put some documentation, unstructured and structured documentation. And the last one is API. I never tested, but I think it's not working very well. It's very manually, so that means that you have to import your data, to modify it, and to push it in storage to be able to work. So we are going to see how it is working. Okay. So here, so I use essentially cloud storage. So I put some here for the movie search. I put some structured data with a list of movie inside it, and I create the application and the data store associated. So this one is going to look at data, and from the accepted data is JSON data. for this case. So I put it some JSON with all the list, and then you can go on preview, and you can ask for any kind of movie that you want, and it's going to have to list you the movie. When you use structured data, the most interesting thing that you can have, that you can format it, in fact, the output like you want. In that case, I want to have a list with a specific field in which I'm going to set. So here, if we go in configuration, configure fields. So I just say that I want to have a list, and for each list, the title will be use the title from my database, the thumbnail, so the pictures, we use this poster path, and so on. So I can configure a set of fields that's going to be displayed here in my search engine. And when you have this, maybe I can show you how to create it. Well, that's good. When you have it, it's a widget that you can directly embed it in your website. So you have here, you have integration. You can make it secure or public access. And in your case, you have the code that you have just to copy and to put it into your website to have this search engine available. But also, you have created a search engine, and you can also use an API to request it. So here you have the endpoint that you have to call is going to be based on your project and also on the name of the collection and the name of the data store and the name of the application that you have built. Here it is. So here I have created for the demo. We are going to see. So I have extract some information on Communauté because sometimes I don't really understand how it's working. So I have put a lot of FAQ pages and PDF that I have found on the site, and I have put on this app, and I use in fact what they call Dialogflow, which is the chatbot solution of Google. So he has created for me a chatbot application, which is a Dialogflow, and with Dialogflow now we can use Interact as a generative AI. So I don't have to configure anything. I just have my Dialogflow, and now with the data that has been pushed on Vertex AI, I can start to test directly the chatbots, and I can start to ask information about Communauté. So here I have indexing a lot of data. So the data is, I think I have some kind of 40 documents that I have pushed here on my bucket. So it's going to be a lot of FAQ, some PDF that with the pricing, a lot of things that I found on the internet. I just put it in that, and now I can start to ask him some information. So the thing that the Dialogflow is something that we can interact with through an API. So for the last demo, so I'm going to interact with the Dialogflow API. And for this one, so it's going to be simple as an input. You are just going to put your question here and send it, and you will have the answer. So now I have my little guy here. So the main idea is going to be a chatbot. So here, he give me an answer, and also give me the documentation where he found the answer that he has put. Sometimes it's going to be more documents. So for now, I just display one document, but we can have a list of different documents, and we can also display it. And he pushed the information. It's just like from various information, and he synthesizes it into this text. That's something that at the beginning with Dialogflow we cannot do it, but now that Dialogflow is associated with generative AI, we can have this kind of performance now on Dialogflow. We can also have, what is the difference between Vertex car and station car. So yeah, so just our pack and design area and scan. And flex are not packed. So,
Oh, yeah, no, I know.
yeah, so you can easily, and sometimes I have an issue. I don't understand why I always find some pet, comment on dit ça, les poils d'animaux. So can we bring? Voilà. So, which is not always the case. More than no. But yeah. So here are how we can interconnect with the Dialogflow API to build your own chat. Do you have any questions so far? As I'm going too fast, or there's some point that you want to know? Okay, let's try to wrap up. So what you see that it's really easy to integrate, in fact, generative AI into your application with Vertex AI. So if you want to do some generative AI, so what you can do is use the GenAI Studio. You can first try to find the good LLM that you want to use. So it is going to be Facebook, Google. That's the that option you have. And then you can select the specific train generative AI that's provided to you. And then you have your work that you have to do. So you have to do your prompt engineering. That's to try to what kind of prompt I need to send to have always the good answer. And you can industrialize it to be able to have the right answer. And the last one, so everything is accessible through API or SDK following the language you're using, and you can integrate into your Flutter application. The next one is about search and conversation. So you can easily and rapidly build a search engine and a chatbot with Vertex AI. All you have to do is you need to have your data, structured and unstructured data, in which you are going to connect your application to be able to use it into your Flutter application through APIs. But be aware, now that you have this kind of superpower, that you have to be responsible about, to be careful about some features, so the cost. So be careful about the cost. It could be very high quickly if you publish an application and this application is very used. So you have to very be careful about the cost, so about the model that you are using, about the maximum token you are going to put. The two example. The second one is security. So I don't know if you know about SQL injection with the web, but now we have a prompt injection. So following how you have configured your prompt, some malicious guy can ask you to execute some code through your Vertex AI, through your generative AI. So be able to be prompt injection proof. That can be a cause of security, and also the access of your LLM to be able to be flowed by a robot and so on. So be careful about the security of your generative AI. And also you have to be responsible for your AI, because there is one thing that you can control is what is going to answer. Even if you have trained and you have given some context and some parameters, you are never really you don't really know what is going to answer. So you have to be responsible to have some tools that you're going to test. So Google have some. You can block something that Google considers to be dangerous to be answered, but you have to train to test, and you have to be sure that the prompt that you have used answer correctly most of the times. And the last one is data privacy. So following where you are going to be used the application, it's important to know that you don't have to store the data and anything about it on data privacy. And this is really only the beginning. we only see that how we prompt, but now there's really some kind of, like we have with the data, so we have data engineer, we have all the data workflow and so on. Now we are going to see emerge that we're going to have some generative AI workflow. That means that now we want to orchestrate different LLM between together, and we want also be able to collect data, because we know that LLM is very generic, and we want to be able to search, in fact, to more specific data. So this one we are going to talk about vector search, embeddings, vector database, and so on. And we have some framework like LangChain, which is going to be able to orchestrate, in fact, everything. And like in the data, we have what we call DAG, which is a workflow when you build a pipeline to ingest and to transform your data. In the generative AI, in the LLM, we have what we call a RAG. A RAG is it's a way to orchestrate, in fact, the way you are going to generate an output with your LLM. It's exactly what has been done. I didn't present this slide. In the case of search and conversation, Google has implemented a RAG from them. So the RAG is going to be, so you have defined some kind of data source. So from cloud storage, website, we are going to use the Google search engine to indexing and to propose the data. After that, we are going to pull up in Vertex AI all the ops that's going to be able to get the data from this one, and after that, you are going to apply your LLM to be able to answer at the end. So Google has implemented their own RAG for this search and conversation. It's a way to analyze external data, to be able to transform it and to understand it, and then to pass it as a context to your LLM to answer correctly. But that's a subject that maybe we can talk for another talk, how we can use this in order. So, thank you for your time.